What's going on, guys? Welcome to MSC F1. We are live here in the Alonso division. We are going to get underway very shortly, so just bear with us. Right, what's going on, Bambo? What's going on, Cinders? How are we all doing? So we are live here, MSC, for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Let me jump into a party so I don't annoy the drivers. Keep it PG. Right, there we go. Here we go. Into Q1 we go. So Lewis straight on to the medium compounds. Brothers. A lot of names in here that I am very familiar with. In fact, I think every single driver on this grid I'm quite familiar with in some way. Through commentating here in MSC and through other leagues as well. So Phoenix Grey is usually pretty rapid out of the pit lane. We'll check that again. It's Cinders. So Cinders not messing around here this evening. Bambo, I'm sure you'll be alright. So we are on board with Cinders he's going to set us off on our first lap around the Hungaro ring. So he's just on an out lap and he's straight out on them softs. No point in messing around for Cinders. He needs to get a decent lap on the board. And that's a tricky part of the circuit there. So he's just getting a little bit warmed up, getting used to the circuit, a bit of heat into the tyres. And then down towards turn 6 and 7. Kissing the two apexes to the left and right. Or should I say right and left. And the Oracle Red Bull driver of MSC F1 Cinders, the British driver, coming around turn 11 down towards sector 3, and he is going to be the first driver by quite a margin to set the first lap here in Hungary. Good aerial shots there. We'll get rid of that so we can get as much graphics as we can on board. So here we go on Cinders, the Red Bull driver here in Q1, and he just slams on that button for the battery as we go down towards turn 1. Traffic to his right hand side as he just slams on them brakes and just touches the apex to the right hand side. DRS comes on very early out of turn 1, opening that rear wing and then just feathering that battery as he goes in towards turn 2, and then right over the curb at turn 3, a lot over the curb for MSC F1 Cinders as it goes slightly uphill now towards turn 4, just lifting off the throttle so we don't invalidate to the right hand side, and then into the right hander at turn 5. We are now in sector 2 and down towards the double apex at turn 6 and 7. Right and then left we go. Not bad from Cinders through there as we go in towards turn 8. Nice and tight to the chicane into turn 9 we go for the British driver in the Oracle Red Bull through turn 10 and down towards turn 11. He'll just slam onto that throttle now and try and burn his way in towards turn 12 at the start of sector 3. The Red Bull driver going up towards the hairpin, the left-hander at turn 13. He slightly locks up the front left as we go down towards the right-handed hairpin at turn 14, and then a short run up towards the line. Here comes the Red Bull driver of Cinders. To the line he goes, and Cinders with a 1:16.2. Then comes the kick Sauber of the Dutchy, goes 1:16.0. So we have a few drivers coming through. Next is going to be Smalley, another Dutch driver towards the line. Where's he going to go? 1:17.3. He will need to find some improvement. And Phoenix Gray, a 1:15.1 for the Scotsman, goes top here in Q1. Little drips the man from Scotland down to P6 in the Alpine. Demir comes through a 1:15.8 from the Bosnian. He goes up to P2. A few more drivers just coming to the line. That is Asters, the Irishman, invalidated his lap time and he will go again. Palandevel, the man from Sweden, also invalidated it. And Mummen Ryder, his countryman, also from Sweden, coming up towards the line. Palandevel goes P5 with a 1:16.2. He knows he's definitely got better in the tank. Jonathan Curran on an out lap, and then we do have a couple of drivers just behind. That is Silver Fox, who's also invalidated it, and then a Haas driver just behind him. That is Baton, who's going to be next. He went super close to the wall there, coming out of turn 14 up towards the line. And Baton goes up to P6 with a 1:16.4, and Bradders goes up to P2, a 1:15.2, and that should be enough to get into Q2 by quite a margin for Bradders. Lewis W&B Wright still in the pit lane. Jonathan is on the lap, so is Asters. Palandevel and Shane Bollen as well. Shane Bollen is just in front. He's backed out though. So we go on board with Asters in the Williams as he also locks up that front left tyre around turn 13. The Williams driver will want a nice banker lap out of turn 14. And a short run to the line. It's a 1:14.7 from Asters, the man who finished P2 in the race yesterday. And there goes Adams up to P4. The Williams look very strong at the start of Q1. Jonathan in the Aston Martin will be next to the line. So Asters topping the charts already. The first driver into the 1:14s. No messing around tonight. The Dutchman of Jonathan's going to be next. DRS enabled up towards line. P5 for Jonathan. And then we do have, that is Silver Fox, goes up to P4, just in front of Jonathan. A 1:15.3 from the Alpine driver. We do have a Scuderia coming through. That is Bradders, I think, going for another lap. Lewis and B right just playing around there as we come out. Shane Bollen in the Mercedes AMG Petronas coming through turn 12. And let's see what he can do. I'm sure he'll be able to get a decent lap on the board. Here comes Shane Bollen around turn 14. Oh, he's going to be down on his lap time here. And it's a 1:16.8, it's P13. He will definitely be at risk of going out when Lewis W and B right said a lap. So Shane Bollen needs to be careful here. He'll definitely have to find some improvement. And we know how good of a driver Shane Bollen is. He showed it all last season. But this season he's just sort of been a little bit troubled. He's just struggled to find that little bit of an edge and that little bit of pace. But I'm sure it'll come back to him at some point when Shane starts to hit the mark and just turn it up again. But we shall see. Aeon Racing League. It's an MSC race, mate, so give him a shout. I'm just live streaming on every platform just to give as much exposure as possible, because I know that Jonathan is live streaming it to all of their socials. I'm live streaming it on my channel. I'm live streaming it to our socials. So, yeah. With Lewis W. B Right's just behind him, but the Haas driver of Lewis with just under 10 minutes to go in this Q1 session will be the first driver out of the pairing. So Little Drip, Smalley and Shane Bollen, definitely the drivers at risk. And Lewis W out of turn 14, throwing that Haas around, and P2 with a 1:15.0. Now here comes B Right in the Visa Cash App RB, up towards the line. P2 takes it right back off him, and the second driver to hit the 1:14s. Bradders looks like he's still out. He is just banging lap after lap on the mediums, isn't he, the Scuderia driver? So the Ferrari Bradders will finally go into the pit lane, and Smalley is back out, so the Aston Martin driver knows that he is in the elimination zone at the moment. The only two drivers in the 1:17s is the Scotsman of Little Drips and Smalley, the Dutchman, in that green machine that is the Aston Martin. So we'll see what he can do. Isman, how you doing, mate? Congratulations on your race victory last night. Brilliant race, mate. Great result. So Smalley will set another lap. We will stay on board with the Dutchman. So out of the final corner, that battery burning already, that rear wing open for the Aston Martin, down towards turn 1, and he just slams on them brakes nice and tight to the curb, and the DRS just kicks in so early out of turn 1. You're literally turning as the DRS kicks in. It's actually quite a bit tricky to try and activate the DRS whilst you're mid-corner. Because it's that early. Up towards turn 4 for the Aston Martin. Now he'll go right over the curb as he just feathers off the throttle. He's 2 tenths down on his lap time. That is not what he wanted to see. So around turn 5 and down towards turn 6 and 7. And Smalley through there. That wasn't bad for Smalley. I think he's going to back out. Did he back out? I thought he was just slowing down there. Yeah, maybe going to go again. So Smalley just seems to be struggling a little bit with the pace of qualifying. Here in Q1, Little Drips is now on a lap, but he's 3/100ths of a second up. He's chewed a lot of that battery power though. As we go down towards turn 6 and 7, here comes the Scotsman over the apex. Very nicely done from the Alpine driver of Little Drips. In towards turn 9 and 10 we go. And then through towards turn 11, and then into sector 3 for the Alpine. He's half a second up. This is going to put him very close to the time of Shane Bollen. So up towards turn 13 for Little Drips, and he has used a lot of battery. He's timed it really well actually. And down towards turn 14, the DRS will kick in just before the line. The Alpine driver onto the curb, he goes up towards the line. Little Drips is through and into Q2 as it stands. Shane Bolland will have to find some improvement, and that's exactly what he's doing as he slides over and onto the grass he goes. And just as Shane Bolland was finding improvement, it is all closed for Shane Bolland. He will probably have to pit now and come back out to set another lap. Really unfortunate for the Scotsman, but he is passed by his countryman of Little Drips, who's now up to P15. The Dutchie in the kick Sauber just setting his lap up to P12. He goes in just behind Demir. I don't know if he did get any improvement. Mullen Ryder has invalidated his lap time. Silver Fox out on the mediums. Adams on the softs in the Williams. I think he's going to be next to set a lap time. Phoenix Great actually is back out on the mediums as well. The RB driver, so we'll stay on board with Adams. He's 4 tenths down on his lap time. What about Silver Fox on the mediums? He's currently in P7. He's invalidated. He runs wide, very easily done. And Mullen Ryder has also done. I think a lot of the drivers in front are very safe. So it's surprising me that they are deciding to use a lot of the tyres. So Shane Bolland is going to try and go again. He knows he only has to find 2 tenths of a second to get back in front of Little Drips with 5 minutes to go in this Q1 session. Remember, exclamation mark MSC in the chat if you do want to come and join. There is no safety cars in these races. It is just pure class racing from start to finish. So let's see if Shane Bolland is finding that improvement when we hit the sector 3 marker. Around turn 11 we go. Is Shane Bolland up? He is up. 4 tenths of a second up for Shane Bolland. This is going to be massive. It might even put him in front of Cinders up towards turn 13 for the Mercedes driver. And just clipping that curb to the right hand side down towards turn 14. Maybe a little bit wide. He's very low on fuel, but this is a massive benefit to him. Down towards the line for Shane Bolland. And he does take Cinders by less than 3/100ths of a second. So Cinders is now the driver at risk. Palander Vel in the other Mercedes goes top. So the Swedishman in P1 in Q1, a 1:14.7. And it looks like Asters might be in another battle for the race victory like he was just last night. So Shane Bolland and Baton. Baton is on lap. B-Right retires, calls it a day. Silver Fox is coming through. He's 2 tenths of a second up on their medium tyres, and then he'll probably go into the pit lane as well. Silver Fox goes up to P7 and in front of Adams. Baton. Oh, it looks like he's made a slight mistake there. Just as we went on board with him, he was right up onto the curb at turn 2. But Shane Bolland knows that he has got that little bit of a safety net now with Cinders behind him, and Baton, he's got a couple of safety nets. Little Drips and Smalley are still in the pit lane with 3.5 minutes to go. They definitely need to improve to get into Q2. So we are on board with Baton, and he needs to find something. He does have Shane Bolland and Cinders behind him. Shane Bolland is into the pit lane. Cinders is starting his flying lap. So we will keep an eye on these two because it's going to go down to the wire. Mullen Ryder retires as well. 2 minutes and 20 seconds of this Q1 session remaining. A nice line through there for Baton. He is on the mediums though. What about Cinders? He's out on the softs and in towards turn 4. He's 2 tenths down on his lap time. He's gone wide. Cinders at turn 4 has made a huge mistake, and has that just cost him his opportunity in Q2? We will find out. Baton is 8/1000ths of a second up as he goes up towards turn 13. The Haas driver of Baton will now go into turn 14 at the right-handed hairpin. The MoneyGram Haas driver, DRS will kick in. ERS is on to the line. Baton stays P13. He does lose time right at the line. So Cinders will have to go again. Little Drips is coming in the Alpine. And he's just going past the Mercedes of Shane Bolin in towards turn 6 and 7 for the Alpine driver. A slight snap of the rear tyres as he came through, but it's not hindered his lap thus far as we go in towards turn 8 and 9 for Little Drips. And through turn 10 and 11. Let's see if he is improving. Little Drips needs to find around 4/10ths of a second to compete with Cinders here. Demir does improve as well in that Sauber. Oh, he's made a mistake. He's onto the grass. That could be it for Little Drips. The Scotsman looks to be eliminated. He was improving as well, but that is it. Little Drips with 40 seconds to go is out. Cinders is safe at the moment. Smalley has to find around a second. Shane Bolin is definitely safe. There's only one driver that can go out. Smalley is coming through to start his very last flying lap with 20 seconds to go. Cinders is not improving. Jonathan retires. Shane Bolin is 6/10ths up. Baton starts his flying lap but will stay on board with Smalley. No, actually, we'll just flip between the both because Smalley's just starting his lap. So let's see if Shane Bolin can improve in the Mercedes. We do have the Dutchie in the Kick Sauber, who's half a second up, which is going to put him around the time of Mum and Ryder, which is a very decent lap for the Sauber driver out of turn 14. Here comes the Dutchie to the line, and it's up to P6. Wow, the times are so closely matched from sort of P10 downwards. Shane Bolin is going to be next. What about Cinders? Cinders has made another mistake at the final corner onto the curb. Keeps it valid, but he's not going to improve. Little Drips is not improving. Smalley, what about Shane Bolin? He's going to be next. He's 2/10ths up. He might even go in front of Baton in the Haas. Here comes the Mercedes driver as the checkered flag has waved, and he does go in front. It's all on Smalley. He's only 1.5 tenths up now. The Aston Martin driver, he needs to find 6/10ths of a second just to go in front of Little Drips. He needs to find a second to go in front of Cinders down towards turn 11 and 12 up towards turn 13 for the Green Machine. The Aston Martin of Smalley, he's not going to find it, and it looks like Cinders is safe and into Q2. Smalley rounds the final corner up towards the line, and it's not enough for the Dutch. So that is it for Q1. And it is Palandavel that tops the list here in Hungary at the first part of qualifying. Aster's in P2, B Wright in P3, Lewis in P4 and Phoenix Gray in P5. But only 2 drivers were eliminated in this first part of this qualifying session. It is Smalley that goes out in P17 and Little Drips flying that Scottish flag will go out in the Alpine in P16. We do still have 2 other drivers flying that Scottish flag in Q2. Really unfortunate for Cam Mackenzie, who's joined just too late. to make an impact in qualifying, so he will start from P18. So we do have a couple of drivers already out, and the first one is Astus, the Irishman. So the Williams of Astus is going to be the driver to set the first lap in Q2. It's a very difficult sector 2, isn't it, here in Hungary? Oh, a huge snap from Astus. The safety car is out here in qualifying. Jesus. Yeah, it's very tricky for any driver coming to Hungary and just navigating through that sector 2. So we are on board with Astus for the first flying lap of Q2. Let's go on board with the Irishman. So up towards turn 1, that rear wing open, just burning that battery. He just goes all the way over to the left so he can dive in towards the right hand side, and you look how different that line is through there as we go slightly downhill towards turn 2, wide again so he can just lunge in to turn 2 and then over the curb at turn 3, and then we go into the dip and back uphill towards turn 4. You want to just ease off the throttle ever so slightly. Look at that, just an absolute snap into there. Through turn 5 we go nice and tight to the chicane, and the tricky part of the circuit is coming up. This is turn 6 and 7, but that is nothing for Astus as he absolutely flies through there. Through turn 8 and 9 we go for the Williams driver. So out of turn 13 we go for Astus, in towards turn 14 at the final hairpin, up towards the line we go. Astus 1:15.0. So the Aston Martin will be next. He's invalidated it, that's Jonathan, he's on an outlap anyway. And then comes, that is Phoenix Grey. Silver Fox takes it right back off him. And that is Silver Fox that tops the list. Cinders comes through at 1:17.7. That wouldn't have been enough to get through to Q2 with that time, so we know he's got improvement there. The Dutchie with a 1:15.9 in the Sauber. There's a McLaren coming next. That is Mummen Rider, the man from Sweden, down towards the line, and it's up to P4 with a 1:15.7. The Ferrari goes P2. And that's Bradders with a 1:14.6. Next will be Baton to the line, a 1:15.1. A good lap from Baton. His teammate comes through to start his flying lap. The Mercedes of Shane Bolin goes up to P6 as he hits the line. Oh, who was that? That was who was that just hit the line? That was B Wright, sorry, in the RB that goes right behind his teammate in P4. We've got Palandavel, Frosty Jack is in. Demir starts his flying lap as well. No, he does, a 1:16.0 as he hits that safety car in front. Lewis W on the lap, Jonathan Palandavel. Here comes Jonathan in the Aston Martin. In towards turn 14 we go. Jonathan Curran out of turn 14 down to the line. Jonathan goes up to P8. Enough to get through at the moment. Lewis W and Palandavel on laps. The Mercedes driver of Palandavel is going to be next. That rear wing will open down towards the line. Palandavel up to P9. He's not going to be happy with that lap time and probably not going to be strong enough to get him through to Q3. Here comes Lewis W out of turn 11 down towards turn 12 for the Haas driver. He is on the mediums though, remember. A lot of drivers will be on scrub soft and old mediums as well. Lewis W round turn 13 he goes down towards turn 14 at the right-handed hairpin, just sliding through there, keeping it nice and tight, over the chicane to the outside, down to the line, and Lewis W up to P5. There is another Haas coming through as well. That is Baton, and he's going to do another lap. So he's currently in P8. There is a couple more drivers coming through. Here comes Demir and into the pit lane with just under 10 minutes of this Q2 session to go. Sorry guys, I was just getting a drink. So Mummen Rider back on an outlap. So I think Phoenix Gray's on another lap. He is. So down towards turn 1 for the RB driver. And it'll be nice to stay on board with Phoenix Gray and just see what he can do as we go down towards turn 2. Look how close he is to the curb, and he uses the right hand side just to keep that pace and that flow of the car going as we go in towards the dip and then uphill towards turn 4, easing off the throttle over the chicane. He is half a tenth down at the moment, which just means that he had an incredible first sector. Oh, he snaps it! Phoenix Gray with a huge mistake coming out of turn 5, and that will cost him his lap time. So that is a Mercedes just going through as he pulls over to the side. That's Palandavel on an outlap. Shane Bolin, his teammate, also on an outlap. And then we got Mummen Rider on a flying lap. So down towards turn 2 for the Papaya McLaren of Mummen Rider. Over the curb at turn 3 we go. This is the business end of Q2 now. This is where it all happens. Over turn 4. Is he backed out? He's backed out. Mummen Rider has backed out. Invalid is Astor's. He has invalidated his lap time. So Palandavel is now on a flyer in towards turn 1. So from one Swedish driver to another, from a McLaren to a Mercedes, into turn 2. Nice and tight to the chicane there for the AMG driver, over the curb at turn 3. Such a beautiful line through there. Up towards turn 4, eases off the throttle, doesn't invalidate. That's what professionals are for. Round turn 5 for Palandavel, using the outside to keep the pace of the car flowing in towards turn 6 and 7. Executed to perfection through turn 8 for Palandavel. Around turn 9 we go. That safety car just in front of him as he hits turn 10 and down towards turn 11. Palandavel looks like he's on an absolute storming lap here as he hits turn 12. 6/10 of a second up for Palandavel as he goes up towards the left-handed hairpin at turn 13. Nice and tight to the chicane as we go down to the final corner here in Hungary. Around turn 14, super close to the wall. Use the outside, DRS enabled, ERS is on, and it's a 1:14.5, and it's fastest in Q2 for Palandavel. Jax, 18 people are in, mate. So Palandavel did set a lap time. But Astor's went even quicker. Oh my god, that is an incredible lap from Astor's. A 1:14 flat from the Irishman is incredible. Adams is 1.5 tenths up in that Williams, so we'll stay on board with him. Let's see what the British driver can do as he goes down towards turn 6 and 7. Will he get any close to that Astor's time? Adams around turn 8 and 9. And the Williams driver is going to have to put it all on the line with 3.5 minutes to go. And he is 3/10 up. That's going to put him around P3, P4 time, unless he continues to improve. Up towards turn 13 for Adams in the Williams. Down towards turn 14. He's still got a lot of battery to burn as he goes up towards the line. Round turn 14 for Adams. He is going to improve to the line. It's a 1:14.6. And he's one of 3 drivers in the .6s. But he is at the bottom end of that. And in P5. What a difference a tenth of a second makes. Mummen Rider now on a flying lap. What about Demir in the kick Sauber? Into the pit lane he goes. So we'll go on board with Mummen Rider in the McLaren as he goes down towards turn 2. Nice and tight to the chicane. I mean, I've got people in the chat claiming Astas is cheating because of how good that lap time was. It says it all. That was phenomenal from Astas. Around turn 5 for the Papaya McLaren. He runs a little bit wide, but so well done from... Oh, he's gone deep again. And that will cost Mum and Ryder. I'm sure he will carry on at this point in qualifying, especially considering he's down in P13. He's got no other option with 2.5 minutes to go. You can see him battling with his head if he should stay or should he go. He is still going to continue. Is it going to be enough to get into Q3 though? That mistake might have cost the McLaren driver a chance at competing in the final qualifying stages. Here in Hungary, around turn 14 we go for the McLaren. Here comes Mum and Ryder. This would be brilliant if he could pull it back. It's a 1:15.2. And that looks like Mum and Ryder will be eliminated from qualifying. Unless he can go around again. If he's fueled up enough, he's going to get another chance at this. But that's if he's fueled up enough. So that is Phoenix Gray, who is also on a lap. This is going to be his final run as well. Round turn 13 for Phoenix Gray. Down towards turn 14 for the Visa Cash App RB. Nice and tight to the wall there. Here comes Phoenix Gray. To the line he goes. It's a 1:14.5 up to P3. And Cinders in the Red Bull will hit the line next. He's 2.4 down. I think he's just starting his flying lap. He is. The Aston Martin and Jonathan also about to start his flying lap. There's a Mercedes coming through. That is Shane Bolland, who needs to find around half a second to get through into Q2. Around turn 14 for the Mercedes. He'll have to go around the outside of that safety car up towards the line for Shane Bolland. And he stays P13. He does improve by 0.2 of a second as well, but it is not enough. Be right on an out lap, just starting his flying lap. Demir, and that was the Dutchie that come to the line. He's just starting his, so it is now coming up to the end of qualifying. Baton is going to hit the line just in time. Mum and Ryder goes into the pit lane. He is out. The first shock of the Hungarian qualifying is Mum and Ryder going out. Lewis W going into the pit lane as well. He's done enough. The kick Sauber of Demir. He's got 20 seconds to get to the line. Phoenix Gray is on his way in. So we need to try and catch up with whoever's out in the lead now. It's the Aston Martin and Jonathan. So we go on board with the Flying Dutchman as he comes out of turn 11 and down towards turn 12. Can he get through? He needs to find only 2/100ths of a second to get into Q3 as it stands. Around turn 13, the checkered flag has waved. And this is it. Jonathan slightly deep, but not too much as he comes out of turn 14 to the line. Jonathan goes up to P9. He has improved, and he's got a safety net as well. I think B Wright is going to be next. He is. He is 0.2 of a second up. Down towards line goes B Wright and stays P8. Demir Baton. Demir is up to P11. Oh, Demir is out. Demir has snapped it. Shane Bolland is out. Cinders is out. That is it for qualifying. Demir, who was improving on his lap time, and Jonathan can now save grace. And Demir, with the snap, is out of qualifying. Drama in Q2. Baton as well. So Demir was improving. He was nearly 2 temps up, so it would have been enough to eliminate the Aston Martin driver and go through. But that huge snap cost him the opportunity. And Jonathan very thankful. The kick Saubers as well. Demir out and the Dutchie through. So all season long we've seen Demir be the #1 driver in that Sauber garage race after race. But it's the Dutchie now that gets his turn in Q3 without his teammate. So we move on to Q3. So Astas is the fastest driver in Q2 by a mile. Silver Fox in P2, Lewis in P3, Phoenix Grey in P4, and Palandavel in P5. But it is MSC F1 Cinders in the Red Bull that goes out in P15. Shane Bolin in the Mercedes goes out in P14. Mum and Ryder in the McLaren. Big shock there, going out in P13. Demir with that huge snap at the end of Q2 goes out in P12. And Baton in the Haas just missing out by less than a tenth of a second to Jonathan in the Aston Martin. So we move on to Q3. Here we go. 12 minutes to determine who is the fastest driver on track and who is going to start from the front of this grid. Some huge names in there. Bradders, Lewis, the Dutchy, B. Wright, Jonathan, Asters, Adams, Palandavel, Phoenix Grey, Silver Fox. They are some rapid drivers, and I can see this qualifying being very, very tight. Like, I think it could come down to literally 3 or 4 drivers being within a tenth of a second. You will have to have your absolute A game at the end of this qualifying session if you want to take pole position. So Bradders is on the way out, but there's already a few drivers in front of him, and one of them is obviously Phoenix Grey, who always likes to be the first out. Yeah, I love this track as well, Jack. I didn't used to, though. I used to hate it. And then, you know, when you have a league race coming up, and you're like, right, I need to do a bit of practice, and then you start practicing on a track, and you're like, you know what, I like it. And then you just end up racing in there, doing practice in there, and you end up really enjoying it. It's like there's a few tracks that I didn't used to like. Portimao being one of them, love it now. Hungary being one of them, France being one of them. I absolutely love Singapore and Jeddah, love them. So we are on board with Phoenix Grey for his flying lap. Sorry. Up towards turn 1 for the V-carb. And nice and tight to the chicane for Phoenix Grey. And then he's just early on the throttle. Not too much though, so he doesn't snap them rears. As you go down towards turn 2, you can see the line of the drivers on the track where they've been taking different lines through there. Down in towards the dip and slightly uphill towards turn 4, just easing off the throttle. Nice through there for Phoenix Grey. Around turn 5 at the right hander. Up towards turn 6 and 7. Let's get a better view of this. Beautifully executed from Phoenix Grey through turn 8 and 9 we go. And this looks like a really good lap from Phoenix Grey. Down towards turn 11 and still keeps it valid. Towards turn 12 we go. Phoenix Grey is putting on a great display here. Up towards turn 13, keeping it just on the apex, and then down towards the right hander. Nice and tight to the wall for Phoenix Grey. Early on the throttle, DRS enabled, to the line he goes, and it's a 1:14.3, and that is a very strong banker. We've got Silver Fox coming next. And Williams just in front of him as well. To the line we go. It's Silver Fox with a 1:14.0 that goes provisional pole. The Aston Martin is going to come through next as well. That's Jonathan starting his flying lap. We've got the Haas of Lewis W as well starting his. Bradders in the Scuderia is going to be next to the line. Bradders with a 1:14.5. Silver Fox on pole. Phoenix Grey in P2. And there goes B. Wright. Takes his teammate a 1:14.2 from the other V-carb. And B. Wright goes up to P2. We do have, that is Adams in the Williams, who's going to be next. He's just heading in towards turn 14. And then down towards the line for Adams. Where's he going to put it? He puts it P5. What about Jonathan in the Aston Martin? He's coming in towards turn 6 and 7. Bradders goes up to P4. The Dutchy in P6. There is a driver just in front of him. A little slide there by Jonathan, but it won't have cost him too much time through the double chicanes. So Jonathan in the Aston Martin, Astor's in the Williams, he's going to be just ahead of him. Palandervel right behind him. The Irishman into turn 14 we go. He will hit the throttle early. He will use that DRS down towards the line. Astor's goes P2. What about Palandervel out of turn 14 for the Mercedes? To the line, P7 for Palandervel. The Aston Martin of Jonathan will come through next and takes P7 off Palandervel, the house of Lewis W. And Lewis goes up to P3. Provisional second row for Lewis at the moment. And look at the top two at the start of Q3. Silver Fox a 114.030. Astor's a 114.050. I told you it was going to be close, and it absolutely is. Less than 0.02 of a second separate the top two and the second two. So, here we go. 6.5 minutes to go in qualifying. Palandervel just moving out of the way. Is Jonathan on another lap? He's got full ERS, so he's got full battery to set another lap. He's not on one currently, maybe going into the pit lane. Who knows? But this is where the drivers will just sort of take a break, gather their thoughts. Isman, no, Silver Fox. He's a little Silver Fox. A cheeky fox going up there in P1. That's a cheeky fox. Silver Fox in P1. Palandervel in the Mercedes. Down towards turn 14 and into the pit lane goes the Swedishman. So, as I said, every single driver into the pit lane, which gives me an opportunity to tell you about MSC. So, if you are interested in racing in one of the best racing leagues online, !MSC in the chat or !Discord, whichever is easiest. It will give you the Discord link for MSC F1. We have two divisions that race on a Monday and a Tuesday, both at 8 PM. We have the Schumacher division on a Monday, the Alonso division on a Tuesday. We run full qualifying, no safety cars throughout the race, so it is just from start to finish, pure pace. That is it. No safety cars to get involved in the racing. So it is a great battle and a great race to watch. You have predetermined weathers, so you know exactly when you're going to be racing. A brilliant community, really, really enjoyable. It's an over 18s only, so you get that sort of adult feel to it as well, just adults racing. So yeah, if you do want to come and be a part of it, !MSC in the chat. Brilliantly run as well. Just some incredible people in there. So all the drivers in the pit lane. If you do want to go and watch the last half an hour of the race last night, there is a stream on the channel there which just caught the last half an hour of the Schumacher division, which was really entertaining because there was a fantastic battle between Astor's, who's racing tonight, who's in P2, and Isman, who won the race. There was a great battle right at the end between them. There was also some really good battles further down in the grid that we managed to watch. So if you do want to go and watch that, obviously after this one, of course. Yeah, but yeah, go and check that out. So all the drivers are just waiting. Who's gonna twitch first? Yeah, and my guess is probably Phoenix Gray. No, it's not. Surprisingly, it's Astor's. He's not messing around. He wants that pole position. He didn't get the win last night, and he wants that redemption. He wants to get it this evening. Astor's will already have a really good feel of this circuit. When you race around a track for 35 laps and do full qualifying and finish P2, and then you do the exact same race the next night, you have got such a huge advantage to the competitors because you've got such a great feel for the track. You know how it's going to develop, you know the conditions, you know the strategies, you know the tyre wear. and you know every single entrance and exit into the corners as well. As I say that, he runs wide. But yeah, you know every single entrance and exit, and Asters will definitely feel the benefits of that tonight. So we'll stay on board with the Williams driver. Let's see what he can do. So on board with the Irishman. Here we go. There we land. So the Williams driver of Asters up towards turn 1 we go. Oh, he went a little bit wide. I thought his rear wheels just caught him out there. Down towards turn 2 we go for Asters. So that DRS just closing as he entered in towards turn 2. Now over the curb at turn 3. He is absolutely flying, isn't he? He is throwing it around. He's got his banker lap. He knows that he's in P2 at the moment, so he can just put it to the absolute limit as he goes around turn 5. He's 1/10 of a second up at the moment. Here's the tricky part. Turn 6 and 7 for the Williams. Gets it spot on for Asters. Around turn 8 and 9 we go. This looks like a really strong lap from Asters. Around turn 10, in towards turn 11 for the Williams driver. Downhill towards turn 12. He's nearly 3/10 of a second up here, Asters. This is incredible. Around turn 12 and up towards turn 13 for the Williams driver. Asters putting it all on the line here in Hungary at the Hungaroring. Down towards turn 14 for the Irishman. Out of the final chicane up towards the line. Asters will take provisional pole. A 1:13.6 for Asters. What a lap from Asters. He wants to hope he's going to get disqualified there. Oh, I think he just retired on track. So here we go. This is it. Silver Fox is on an out lap. He's just starting his final lap. Lewis is on a lap. A few drivers coming through. Adams, what about Phoenix Gray as well? He's on a lap. B Right starts his. 30 seconds to go. The Ferrari of Bradders is going to be next towards the line. Jonathan just hits the line to get his lap in. Here we go. This is it. Bradders around turn 14. Here comes the Scarlet Ferrari. F7R Bradders up towards the line. Goes up to P3. A 1:13.2. The Dutchie has retired and called it a day. Here comes Adams. He is improving, but he's only slightly up on his lap time. He needs to find a great sector 3 if he wants to improve on his track position. Down towards turn 14, the final chicane for Adams. Oh, a little bit short on the line there up towards the finish line. Stays P14. He lost a bit of time there. You've seen it in that final corner. Here comes Phoenix Gray into the pit lane. He's not going to improve. What about Lewis W? Lewis W goes up to P2. Who is going to be next? Oh, Silver Fox has invalidated it. The Alpine driver can do no more. Here comes B Right up towards turn 13 for the Visa Cash App RB driver. B Right, the man from Bristol. Down towards turn 14 we go. Nice and tight to the wall. Early out. DRS enabled to the finish line. B Right stays P5. What about Jonathan? The Dutchman is improving. Stays P9. What about the Mercedes of Palandevel into the pit lane? And Asters takes pole here at the Hungaroring. So we have our starting grid for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Let's go through it. It is Asters in the Williams. The Irishman takes pole position here at the Hungaroring. Lewis W in the house will be alongside him on the front row of this grid. On the second row of the grid, it's Silver Fox in the Alpine in P3 and F7R Bradders in the Scuderia in P4. Locking out the third row of the grid, it's the two Visa Cash App RBs, B Right in P5 and Phoenix Gray in P6. On the fourth row of the grid, it's the Swedishman of Palandevel in the Mercedes in P7 and the British driver of Adams in P8 in the Williams. And on the fifth row of the grid, it's an all-Dutch lockout. Jonathan Curran in the Aston Martin in P9 and the Dutchie from the Dutch in the Kick-Sauber in P10. We do have a 5-minute break, guys, so we'll be back with you shortly for the race. So we are about to go racing in a minute's time. Hope you're ready for some class action racing here in the Alonso division at MSC F1. Should be a cracker. Because the times are so close as well. Yeah, it is a bit. Except you if you were racing. As you showed last night. Here we go. This is it. So there is going to be more drivers on the group, with a couple that joined through qualifying. Any Joe. So here we go, this is it for round 9 for the Hungarian Grand Prix here at MSC F1. And it's lights out and away we go. Down towards turn 1, there's already an RB off the track. Here comes Lewis W. Up the inside of the Williams as they shoot down towards turn 1. And the Williams gets a great exit out of turn 1. The Alpine runs wide. The Ferrari of Brothers is side by side with the Alpine of Silver Fox as they go down towards turn 2. The Alpine will have the inside line. Palandavel watches on as them two squabble in front. Phoenix Gray and Jonathan Curran, the two owners here at MSC, are wheel to wheel as they go down into the dip and up towards turn 4. But it's the Aston Martin of Jonathan that comes out just in front and has made up 3 places. Cam McKenzie and the Red Bull already up 8, so is Frosty Jack in that Scarlet Ferrari. Demir staying in position, the Dutchy B right down 11 places in the V-Cab. Late on the brakes goes Cinders all over the back of the rear diffuser of that Alpine in front. But it is Astor's on the opening lap, and it is your race leader going down towards turn 12. Lewis W in the house, 7/10 of a second off the back of him. Silver Fox is there, Bradders is there, all staying in position. But Landervel still within DRS range. Jonathan Curran just outside of it. 1.1 behind the Mercedes AMG Petronas driver of Landervel. Phoenix Gray and the RB is there, Baton on the back of Adams on the inside of turn 14, and they are side by side as they come out of the final chicane. Baton in the Haas, the Williams of Adams, look at them, nothing to separate them. That Duracell battery not doing its job as the Haas driver will stay in front. But the Williams takes the wider line. He'll get the better exit down towards turn 2. And the Williams of Adams is just about in front. What about Cam McKenzie as well? In the Red Bull just watching as Baton is squabbling with the Williams. And it's Adams that comes out in front of Baton. Wow, what a battle. There goes B right on Cinders. The V-Cab, little drips, has had a crash and the Alpine driver is into the wall. The Dutchy is down 6 places as he runs wide. He runs wide again. The Smalley is going to look for an opportunity up the inside. What about Frosty Jack in the Scuderia, still with Cam McKenzie, and the Red Bull spins it. Cam McKenzie is onto the grass. Can he recover as he safely joins the circuit? And Cam McKenzie, all the hard work has just been undone in the blink of an eye. Astor's is outside DRS range. 1.2 is the gap. Here comes Silver Fox in the Alpine. Bradders in the Ferrari. Down towards turn 1 they go. Remember, they will have DRS. Here comes Silver Fox on Lewis W. The Alpine goes up to P2. Can Lewis W switch it back? A little snap from the Alpine, but he's going to have that DRS. Phoenix Gray on Jonathan once more. These two going for round 2 as they go down towards turn 2. Phoenix Gray will go round the outside, both on the harder compound tyres. In towards turn 3, over the chicane they go, and it's Phoenix Gray that comes out behind Jonathan Curran. Baton and Adams also getting involved in the action. Bradders in the Ferrari, now looking at an overtake for Lewis W. This is for podium places here at the Hungaroring. Over turn 6 and 7 they go. What about Smalley on the Dutchy? The Aston Martin still chasing down that Sauber driver. Cam McKenzie is going to have to do a recovery drive from here. The Aston Martin was looking for a move but wasn't able to get it. And the Sauber driver just goes off the track there. Nearly opened up the door for Smalley. And it looks like the Dutchy is struggling. Little Drips is out. Shane Bolin is out. Oh, there goes the Dutchy. There goes Smalley on the Dutchy. Up the inside as they go in towards turn 12. Demir on MSC F1. Cinders, the Red Bull driver. And now here comes Mum Rider as well. The Papaya McLaren will go up the inside of Cinders as they go in towards turn 14. Out of the final chicane. But it is Demir that stays in front. What about Phoenix Gray and Jonathan? Jonathan is through. That's Adams this round. Adams in the Williams loses it and on to the grass he goes. Oh, really unfortunate for him. Phoenix Gray is finally through and up to P6. The Silver Fox with a 3-second time penalty. That's going to be very costly. There goes Cam McKenzie on the Dutchy. The Red Bull driver is through on the Sauber. What about F7R Bradders on Lewis W? So F7R Bradders, he does have Palandavel in the Mercedes on the back of him. Oh, who's that? That's the Aston Martin of Jonathan that's had a mistake, and through goes B right. And Frosty Jack as well in the Ferrari. Let's jump on both of these front runners. Here comes Lewis W now to take back that position off the Silver Fox in the Alpine. Lewis W goes back up to P2. What about the Ferrari of Bradders as well? And the Mercedes of Palandavel. And he loses 3 places, but he's just holding on to that 5th position. And Palandavel will go around the outside of the Alpine. What a move from the Mercedes. That is exceptional. Silver Fox from P2 is down to P5 in a matter of a couple of corners. Here comes Cinders on Mum Rider looking for a move up the inside. Mum Rider leaves him the space, but Cinders not able to capitalise. Demir is there in the kick Sauber. Baton in the Haas. All over that rear wing of Phoenix Gray in front. Frosty Jack, B right in the V-Cab, trying to come back into this Grand Prix. So, Baton not getting a good exit there for Phoenix Gray, but he's still close to him. Here comes Bradders on Lewis W. Is he going to be able to make another move? Bradders on the Haas. Here comes the Ferrari. Both Ferrari-powered engines. But Bradders just staying behind for now. Phoenix Gray does have Baton and Frosty Jack on his tail. And here comes Jonathan on B right up the inside of the V-Carb and the Aston Martin. But remember, he'll get that double dose of DRS as he goes down towards turn 2. The Aston Martin will go the long way round. And it is the V-Cab that just stays in front in towards turn 4. They go. And Jonathan has to back out as B right slams the door in his face. What about Cinders on Mum Rider through turn 2 and up towards turn 3? Cinders got a really good exit out of turn 3 and up towards turn 4 they go. And that was Demir that just run a little bit wide. What about Smalley on the Dutchy? So Palandavel, this is a really good opening 6 laps here. That is a yellow flag. That is Demir in the Sauber, and Cinders as well loses a position to Cam McKenzie. Smalley and the Dutchy are through, and Demir will have to do it all over again. The Saubers have had an awful start to this Grand Prix. Bradders looks a bit far back to make a move on Lewis W, but he's coming at a rapid pace. But yeah, not enough time, and Palandevel was looking for the move. The Ferrari makes a slight mistake. The Mercedes tries to go up the inside, but just not enough space. Jonathan and B. Wright go for round 2. B. Wright will try the old switcheroo, but Jonathan will get that DRS again, and the Aston Martin driver is finally up to P9. What about that? Cinders and the Dutchy both into the pit lane. Demir back into P15. That is Smalley with a 3-second time penalty. Brothers in the Ferrari, still on the back of Lewis W, who's 2 seconds behind Asters. Remember, Phoenix Gray's on the hard compound tyre, and he's only 2 seconds off the front of P5. So keep an eye on him, because he's gone for an alternative strategy here, and I think it might have paid off. I think the hard compounds are a really good tyre to start on around Hungary. Oh, a slight mistake there from Brothers. And Palandevel might get the opportunity that he's been waiting for. In towards turn 14 they go. If Palandevel gets a good exit here, he might have an opportunity on the back of this Scuderia. Down towards turn 1 they go, and it is Lewis W that will hold on for another lap. What about Jonathan and Frosty Jack? Here comes the Aston Martin on the Ferrari, and Jonathan will make up another position in towards turn 1. The Dutchman is through. Frosty Jack switches it back up the inside, but he's not going to be able to without that DRS. And Jonathan, he's used a lot of battery. Around turn 2 they go. Frosty Jack will use the outside line, but it is the Aston Martin that stays in front. Jonathan doing everything he can do to hold on. And Frosty Jack, you can see him just eager to get through. Oh my God, Asters has got a 3-second time penalty. Exactly what he did last night when he was battling with Isman for the race victory. He got a time penalty, and it cost him the opportunity to get the overtake on Isman and win the race. And he's done exactly the same here this evening. And that's very early on to get a time penalty. B. Wright is still there as well. He's looking for a move on Frosty Jack. The Ferrari driver is still within DRS range of Jonathan. What about Brothers on Lewis as they come out of turn 14? But he's a little bit far behind again. Lewis is doing really well, and he's staying within 2 seconds of Asters as well. So Palandevel, what about B. Wright on Frosty Jack? He's into the slipstream. He's going to try and go up the inside. The V-carb goes later on the brakes. The Ferrari tries to switch it round. He goes off the track. And it is B. Wright in the V-carb that is through and up to P9. And Jonathan has a little bit of breathing space for a second. Isman, the mediums, drop off really quick, mate. As you know, Palandevel only 0.2 of a second behind Brothers. In towards turn 6 and 7 they go. Brothers is flashing, but he's still got a lot of battery. Moment Rider with a 3-second time penalty now as well. Lewis W still fending the attacks off from behind. Asters has left. Asters has lagged out. He needs to get back in ASAP. I don't know if I've got Asters as a friend. If Asters wants to add me, F7R-Nathan4876. I haven't got Asters as a friend. Let me add him. I can't do that. 1 minute. I can't even add, can I? No, I can't even add. Here we go. So Lewis W will chase him down. Asters needs to get back in really quickly. Oh, they've chased him down. Asters, add me. I will write my name in the chat. So Asters is still in the lead for now. I can't add anybody. Yeah, I can't add. Oh, he's back in. He's back in. Thank God for that. He's still in the lead. I don't like it when drivers lag out. So Cam McKenzie's into the pit lane. B. Wright is 2.4 behind Jonathan. He's struggling. So is Asters back in his car? He is. Thank God for that. But he's now got the trail of drivers behind him, all within that DRS train. Or a little snap from Asters. And he is now back into the pack. What about Jonathan O'Baton? Up the inside goes Jonathan in the Aston Martin. The Haas driver goes wide. And he is going to try and go back up the inside of turn 14. Wheel to wheel once more. Out of the final chicane. Nothing to separate them. The Haas driver just slots back in behind the Aston Martin. But the rear wing is open for the Haas driver up towards turn 1. And it is Baton that goes up to P7. But for how long? Jonathan will swing it around the outside. And he does go back in front. The Haas will have the DRS. Nothing to separate them in towards turn 2. And Jonathan doing what he does best. Really well executed from the Aston Martin driver. And this is giving an opportunity to be right to catch up. Frosty Jack with a 3-second time penalty. Later on the brakes is Baton. Yellow flags. That is Adams with a 3-second time penalty. That's the Sauber that's into the wall. So Astos is going to have to do it all over again. He needs to escape that DRS before they get to the pitch straight. But I don't know if he's going to shrug off the Haas. He is really trying though, isn't he? He's burning a bit more battery. I don't think he did though. This is good for Lewis. He did get the DRS, the Haas driver. And this is going to give him that little bit of breathing space now for Lewis. So Phoenix Grey is on the hard compound tyre and he's now with the DRS train. This is a brilliant drive. This could be a race victory. That's Blandervel into the wall. The Mercedes driver is out here in Hungary. The Mercedes of Blandervel is out of the Hungarian Grand Prix. Oh, that is so unfortunate. He was having a brilliant race. Yeah, he's back, Isman. So, Bradders 1.5 behind Lewis W. Phoenix Grey will start to feel the benefit of them harder tyres. Be right, 1.5 behind Baton. Mum and Ryder 1.1 behind Adams. Remember, Lewis W will get that DRS now. Rear wing open again. What about Silver Fox on Bradders? The Alpine driver moves into the podium places. What about Phoenix Grey? He has a little look to the side, thinks better of it. Bradders is down to P4 in that Scarlet Ferrari. B-Right and Frosty Jack are going for the undercut here at the Hungaroring. And that is Adams that moves up. So does Mum and Ryder. B-Right goes into the pit lane. Is he on soft compounds? He's just gone on to soft compounds. He's going for the two-stop strategy, B-Right. So, Demir is also through. So, B-Right going for the two-stopper. Oh, no, he's on the hards. He's on the hards. My mistake. It looked like he went onto the softs, didn't it? It looked like it had a red ring on him. Phoenix Grey still on the back of Bradders. They are starting to fall off Lewis W, who's really catching up to Astos. I think Phoenix Grey is in an extremely strong position here. That is a yellow flag. I think that is the Sauber again. And that is Silver Fox into the pit lane, and so is Astos. Astos and Silver Fox are in. Lewis gets DRS and will stay out for another lap. So does Bradders. Phoenix Grey on the hard compound tyres stays out as well. He's on a different strategy. Is he going to go for the move? Jonathan is through. Astos and Silver Fox. Where do these two drivers come out? If they come out in traffic, this could be really bad for their strategy. What about Mum and Ryder? He's through. Adams is into the pit lane. Silver Fox and Astos are on their way out and into 12 seconds of clean air. That's exactly what the drivers in front did not want. B Right does jump Baton. Bradders with a 3-second time penalty. The RB of B Right is through. Silver Fox on the back of Mum and Ryder. So Astor's came out in 12 seconds of free air, and Silver Fox came out in behind the McLaren. That is just what Astor's wanted. So Silver Fox will have to disperse of that papaya in front, and he does. Mum and Ryder makes a mistake coming out of turn 4, and Silver Fox gets a free pass through. What about Phoenix Grey now on Bradders? In towards turn 12 they go. It's the RB driver on the back of the Scarlet Ferraris to go up towards turn 13. So Phoenix Grey is through as Bradders goes into the pit lane. So does Lewis. So Lewis and Bradders pit a lap later than Astor's. Where is Astor's going to come out? He's coming round the final corner. Remember, Lewis was only half a second behind him. Into the pit lane goes the Haas drivers. Astor's in the Williams is coming down the pit lane. Lewis W and Bradders are coming out. Astor's coming through. Astor's will come out in front of Lewis W, and he's now shrugged off the DRS range, and Silver Fox also jumps Lewis W. The undercut is strong here. So Silver Fox 1.6 behind Astor's, Lewis W behind Silver Fox, but 1 lap fresher tyres. Will that make any kind of difference though? We shall see. Phoenix Grey is now your race leader on lap 15. Yet to pit though, but on a completely different strategy. Lewis W, he knows what he has to do. Frosty Jack with another time penalty. Remember, Lewis W knows that Silver Fox and Astor's both have time penalties in front. He knows all he has to do is stick with them, and this is his race to lose. Baton on the back of B Right. He's just lost that DRS though. B Right starting to turn it up a bit. Cam McKenzie, he was absolutely flying at the start of this Grand Prix. He made up like 8 places off the start line. And then a huge mistake for the Red Bull driver, and right to the back of the pack he went. Bradders on the back of Mum and Ryder. Here comes the Ferrari on the McLaren into the slipstream, moves over to the right hand side, and Bradders will move up to P6 through on the papaya. Goes in towards turn 1. F7R Bradders into P6. Lewis W still all over the back of Silver Fox in the Alpine. The Haas driver looking for a way through. They're still 1.7 behind Astor's. The Irishman is your provisional race leader as he currently sits in P3. Jonathan as well in P2. MSC F1 Cinders. Krista S, thank you so much for the sub. So MSC F1 Cinders on the back of Smalley, the Red Bull on the Aston Martin is to go slightly uphill towards turn 4. What about B Right? He's only 0.2 of a second behind Mum and Ryder, who was overtaken by Bradders on the very last lap, and now here comes B Right. A little snap from Mum and Ryder, and B Right is not even going to wait for the DRS. He's going to go around the outside. Was that a mistake that he's just made? No, he got the DRS. Here comes Baton in the Haas, who also makes a move on the papaya of Mum and Ryder, and the Swedishman loses 2 places. B Right and Baton in towards turn 1. The Haas driver will now get DRS on B Right as well. Lewis W and Silver Fox are actually catching up to Astor's here. This is not good for the Williams of Astor's. Maybe just preserving his tyres at this point. Smalley goes into the pit lane. Cinders goes through. So the 2 Mercedes both out of this Grand Prix. The 2 Red Bulls in P13 and P14. Demir trying to claw it back into the top 10. Lewis W 0.6 of a second behind Silver Fox still. You know what? They're not catching up. These drivers are not catching up to Jonathan and Phoenix Grey as much as I think they probably thought they were going to. The hard compound tyre is a really good tyre around here. If I was Jonathan and Phoenix Grey now, I would stay on them hard tyres for as long as I possibly could. and then go on to their mediums near the end of this Grand Prix. There goes Lewis W on Silver Fox, and the Haas driver is through on the Alpine and up to P4, provisional P2. They are now 1.8 behind Asters, who's just took it into second gear. Here comes Adams on Demir, the Williams driver. Demir moves over to the right, Adams to the left, and the Williams driver is going to make the move as they go wheel to wheel, and Adams makes it look easy as he goes in towards turn 1. The Bosnian passed by the Brit. Frosty Jack does have a back marker in front of him. If it was anywhere else on the circuit, he'd be relishing it with that DRS. So, Silver Fox in the Alpine, just trailing on the back of Lewis W. Oh, Asters is flying now. He's starting to catch up to Jonathan at a rapid rate. Around turn 13 they go. Out of turn 14, and here comes Asters on Jonathan, and your provisional race leader will move back into P2. The Williams through on the Aston Martin in towards turn 1. A slight lock up, but no damage done as the Williams gets the deal done. Silver Fox on the back of Lewis W within DRS range. What about Frosty Jack on Mum Rider? The Ferrari of Frosty Jack will make the move. He goes side by side with the Papaya in towards turn 1. Frosty Jack is through. Mum Rider can't do anything, cannot respond at all. He's on a completely different strategy. Jonathan trying to stay with Asters. Asters now chasing down Phoenix Gray. That's his next goal. His next milestone. 19 laps gone, 16 to go. Cinders is through as Demir goes into the pit lane on them hards, and he will pit for the mediums. Here comes Lewis W on Jonathan. He's going to want to get this move done quickly. He switches it back. He's got a lot more grip. But Jonathan, we know how good he is at defending. And Lewis W once again will try and switch it back. He'll probably be a bit more patient now and just wait for that DRS. In towards turn 14, he's losing a lot of time. Silver Fox is closing up on him. Here comes Lewis W with that DRS into the slipstream of the Aston Martin. He'll make the move. Here comes Silver Fox as well. Lewis W and Silver Fox going for the move on the Aston Martin. Later on the brakes goes the Alpine round the outside of Jonathan. And nothing the Dutchman can do about that one. They are now 3 seconds behind Asters though. So Asters has pretty much timed his pit stop and timed his strategy to perfection. To perfection. He's done really well. Still 2.6 behind Phoenix Gray though. We know obviously he's still got a pit, and so does Jonathan, but they're in really strong positions considering. Because once they pit, they're going to be really quick. Very, very interesting race. Sorry guys, I'm just having a drink. I should have muted my mic. I do apologise. So, Silver Fox is still within the DRS range of Lewis, who's still losing time to Asters, who's gaining time on Phoenix Gray. 14 laps to go. It's interesting to see Phoenix Gray in front. I know he's still got a bit off them hards, and I know he's on a different strategy. Mullen Rider is into the pit lane finally off them hards to go on to the mediums till the end of this Grand Prix. Asters is closing the gap. I tell you what, Lewis W and Silver Fox will really want Phoenix Gray to hold up Asters here, and the fact that he's caught in going through turn 6 and 7 will only benefit the Haas and the Alpine behind, because it's very difficult to overtake through here, and Asters is going to try anyway. Phoenix Gray will probably hold on. Asters is going to go through. He does go through around the inside. I was going to say outside then, down the inside. Asters and Lewis W did catch up a little bit, but not as much as he would have hoped. He would have hoped that Phoenix Gray held on. There goes Bradders through on Jonathan. And we missed that one. Bradders not waiting for the DRS at all. Just making the move. Jonathan might actually be able to come back at Bradders. Oh, he's into the pit lane. So is Phoenix Grey. They're both going to pit on lap 22. Finally into the pit lane. Aster's back into the lead of the Grand Prix. Lewis back in P2. Silver Fox into the podiums in P3. And Bradders 4 seconds behind the podium sirs. Here comes B-Right, Baton, Phoenix Grey and Jonathan. Where are they going to come out? Jonathan's got a penalty. Oh no, I think he just lagged out there. And Phoenix Grey is going to come out in front of Frosty Jack and into 6 or 7 seconds of clean air for the VCAB driver. That is exactly what he would have wanted. I think Jonathan did have a penalty actually because he's come out 6 seconds behind Frosty Jack. Remember, Phoenix Grey, Jonathan, Baton, B-Right and Lewis W don't have any penalties at the moment. Lewis W would win this Grand Prix. So, Phoenix Grey is going to be flying on their mediums. Silver Fox and Lewis W are starting to catch up to Asters. 13 laps to go for the Hungarian Grand Prix. And still your guess is as good as mine as to who's going to come out victorious in this Grand Prix. Silver Fox will open that rear wing on the Alpine. Through turn 1, down towards turn 2. Lewis in the Haas in P2. Silver Fox on his tail as he just follows him through turn 3. Over the curb they go. Down into the dip and then slightly uphill. They can see Asters just in the distance as they come around turn 3. They've seen him in the distance. That's Cam McKenzie again that's made a mistake. Mullen Ryder is through. That's Baton that's through. B-Right has spun it. B-Right has spun it as well. His teammate goes through. Here comes Frosty Jacks. Cam McKenzie's into the pit lane. Calls it a day. So B-Right with another huge mistake. He's missing an M plate. B-Right in the V-cab. And it's not like him to make mistakes, but he is missing an M plate. And for the second time this Grand Prix, he's going to tumble down the grid. Frosty Jack chasing him down now. And he's going to go up the inside. B-Right moves off. Here comes Jonathan. And Cam McKenzie. Here goes Demir on Smalley. Demir in the Sauber moves through on the Aston Martin. Down in towards turn 1. He goes a little bit deep. Will Smalley respond? Silver Fox is through on Lewis W. The Alpine is up to P2. And they've lost that 3-second gap to Asters in front. So did he make a mistake as well? Phoenix Grey has already took 2 seconds out of Baton. Phoenix Grey has set the fastest lap of this Grand Prix. Jonathan goes through. B-Right goes into the pit lane. Lewis W, 3/10 of a second. Oh, he makes a mistake. Silver Fox is onto the grass. Lewis W goes back through round turn 5. Silver Fox made a mistake onto the grass. He went. He did exceptionally well to hold on to that car though. Oh, Cam, I can't believe that. You were up 8 places at the start of the race, mate. Oh, incredible start. 3.7 is the gap now from Lewis to Asters with 11 laps to go. Silver Fox still within DRS range. He's maybe just eased off the accelerator a little bit nervous after that spin onto the grass. But as I said, he did really well to hold on to it. He got the DRS again. Bradder's in the distance. There goes Smalley back on Demir. He says it's now 1 for 1 as the Sauber driver loses a position to the Aston Martin. Phoenix Grey has took another 2 seconds out of Baton. Demir is chasing down Smalley as they go through turn 3 and up towards turn 4. Asters just moving through one of the back markers. Lewis W over the chicane at turn 4. They're nearly 4 seconds behind Asters. They're losing that time and Lewis W is losing this race victory. What about Demir? He's still on the back of the Aston Martin as they go through turn 8. 2/10 of a second is the gap. Phoenix Grey now 1.5 behind Baton. Here comes Demir down towards turn 12. And they do have a Haas behind them. Who is that? I think that might be Lewis W. It is. Demir moves out the way. That has cost Demir so much time. He had to move out the way. Smalley will have to do the same. He'll have to yield the position. But he didn't move out the way as much as Demir did. And that has cost him a lot of time. Demir actually lost the position to Cinders then. Here comes Jonathan on Frosty Jack. 3 tenths, 4 tenths of a second is the gap. Phoenix Grey, look at him now. He's already got DRS on bait and he is absolutely flying, setting fastest lap as well. DRS is enabled. Silver Fox has lost DRS to Lewis. It's head down now for the Haas driver. That both Haas drivers are in really strong positions. This is really good points on the constructors board. That is Jonathan through on Frosty Jack. The Aston Martin goes round the outside of the Ferrari driver. Into turn 2 they go. And it is the Aston up to P7 who is also flying on their medium compounds. And I think that is Demir in front. And he might get a time penalty here for blue flags. No, it's the Dutchie. It's the Dutchie who's going to get the time penalty. Frosty Jack still on the back of the Aston Martin in towards turn 6 and 7. That must be a little bit off-putting for the Aston Martin driver as he's literally driving through the Sauber. That is Smalley in the Aston Martin that's made a mistake. Through goes Cinders. So Frosty Jack on Jonathan. Here comes Phoenix Grey. Will go up the inside of Baton. He's not going to wait for the DRS. And does he back out? Did he get it? Who got it? Here comes Phoenix Grey, wheel to wheel with Baton. And it's the V-Cab. Who got DRS? It was... I don't even know who got the DRS. They're both wheel to wheel still. Phoenix Grey will have to go the long way round on the Haas driver. Nearly runs in wide. This is brilliant racing down towards turn 2. Phoenix Grey on them fresher tyres has the inside line into turn 2. And they still squabble for position into turn 3. And Phoenix Grey is through. So now the gap 10 seconds to Bradders. Remember, let's have a look at the tyres. Really old hard tyres for the rest of the grid. Phoenix Grey and Jonathan on them 5-lap old mediums. Is it doable? Is the 10 seconds doable? We shall see. If Baton can stay with Phoenix Grey here and get DRS, this is going to be really advantageous for him and his race. But this is real strong points for the Haas team. So Lewis W now 4 seconds behind Asters. He needs to be within 3 seconds. Baton didn't keep the DRS. Mullen Ryder and Adam separated by 3 seconds. Frosty Jack now 2 seconds behind Jonathan. Yellow flags are waving once more. That is the Dutchie that is round the Sauber driver who did so well to get into Q3 in qualifying. Has had the race of nightmares. So Lewis knows what he needs to do. Is he conserving that energy? Is he waiting? Is he going to push near the end? These are all questions that the drivers will be asking themselves. So Isman does say the mediums will fall off before he has a chance to catch any of the front 4. He is already into the 8 seconds, but as Isman said, their mediums will not last long. Demir goes into the pit lane. Lewis W is still 3.9 behind. 6 laps to go. It's been an incredible Grand Prix. It has been really good. Asters with another dominant display as he was last night, but last night he came out in P2, sorry. So let's have a look at penalties. So 3 seconds for Astor's, 3 for Silver Fox, 6 for Bradders. Wow. So essentially, Phoenix Grey is actually only 2.7 behind taking that B4 away from Bradders. 6 for Frosty Jack. Frosty Jack is actually up 11 places as well. The Dutchie goes into the pit lane. So the drivers, there's quite a distance between the drivers now. But we are coming to that time in the race when all the drivers are just banging out their laps and just concentrating on getting to the end of this race. So B-Right has caught up to Mum and Ryder. This is the only battle going on track at the moment. Here comes the V-Cab chasing down the Papaya McLaren in front. And Mum and Ryder, who did pit for them mediums quite a while ago now, will start to feel the tyre degradation, and B-Right will capitalise on it. Into turn 5 he goes, and down towards turn 6 and 7. Lewis W now 4.7 behind Astor's. Remember, he only needs to be within 3 seconds. Here comes B-Right on Mum and Ryder. The V-Cab on the Papaya. Through turn 9 and 10 they go. And Mum and Ryder will try and hold on for as long as possible. Cinders into the pit lane for new shoes, and in towards turn 12, up towards turn 13 at the left-handed hairpin. You can see Adams in the Williams in the distance. There goes Smalley and Demir that go through on Cinders, who comes out of the pit lane now on fresh soft tyres. And B-Right is through on Mum and Ryder. Mum and Ryder now goes into the pit lane as well. So a couple of the drivers will squabble for the fastest lap. Astor's still 4.7 clear. Silver Fox has fell off on the back of that Haas, but he's still in a podium position. Phoenix Grey has started to lose time to Bradders as well. As Isman said, he called it. He said the medians would fall off before the hard compounds did, and he was absolutely right. Yeah, if I was surprised the drivers didn't go a little bit longer on the hards. That's what my plan was last night before I retired and jumped on commentary. But I was going to go really long on the hards and then go for a nice medium stint for like the last sort of 8 laps or something. What about Demir on the back of Cinders? Here comes the Sauber driver on the back of the Red Bull out of the final chicane. Cinders on the back of Smalley as well. The Aston Martin driver 0.8 of a second. There's the Ferrari of Bradders. He's, I think that might be Frosty Jack, is it as well? So Cinders chasing him down. So is Demir. A little snap from the Red Bull as they come out of turn 1. So Demir is still going through over turn 4. Gets a time penalty. Cinders is still chasing down Smalley in the Aston Martin. Over the chicane at turn 4, in towards turn 5 they go. Smalley in the Aston Martin. Got a bad exit. Cinders is closing the gap. In towards turn 6 and 7. Over the apex at 6. Into the apex at 7. Down towards turn 8. That front runner just getting involved in this tasty battle at the back of the grid. And that Ferrari is getting right in the way of Cinders. In towards turn 11 they go. He is still within DRS range. Demir is closing the gap on that Red Bull in front. In towards turn 12. The Red Bull driver trying to hold on. They will both got DRS of Smalley, who runs wide. The Ferrari is through. Cinders is on his way. Down in towards turn 14. Cinders will get DRS on the Aston Martin. The Dutchie is in front, but for how long? Cinders into the slipstream, and here comes the Red Bull driver with that DRS enabled, and through goes Cinders. He goes late on the brakes, and Smalley spins. Here comes Demir in the Sauber. Smalley makes a mistake and goes down to P14, and Demir will see an opening on Cinders. He's still within that DRS range. 2 laps to go here at the Hungaroring. Demir has lost that DRS to Cinders in the Red Bull. And Phoenix Grey was not able to close up the gap. Lewis W 5.1 behind Asters. He's not going to win this Grand Prix, even with the penalty of the Irishman who leads here in Hungary. And Smalley is back within DRS range of Demir. The battle at the back continues. And that Ferrari, I think that is that Bradders? No, it's Frosty Jack that is right in the middle of this battle, and he's sort of in no man's land. He's not fighting with anybody at the moment. So Lewis W has put it all down on the line, but he's been unable to catch up to Asters. Demir and Smalley. Demir will get that DRS from that Ferrari in front, which has helped him out. Cinders is flying. He's in P12, and deep goes Demir. Smalley might have a chance to catch back up to him, but Cinders is banging out some laps here. Wow. So we are back with no drivers close to each other, but it's understandable as we are about to go on to the very final lap of this Grand Prix. It has been incredible, and Asters has got DRS from a back marker, and if it wasn't hard enough already for Lewis W, it's about to get a little bit harder. As he's got DRS, Lewis W is going to finish around 2.5 seconds behind the Irishman. It's been a fascinating race of great strategies and great strategic minds in play, with race IQs all over the place. 15 drivers will finish, 19 entered, and 4 did not finish. But wow, what a drive. But Asters, what a performance. It has been a great drive from the Williams. And the man from Ireland comes round turn 12. And Asters, he came up short last night, but this evening he's going to come out on top. The man from Ireland, Asters in the Williams, will win the Hungarian Grand Prix. Asters in P1. Lewis in the Haas will take P2. And Silver Fox, with a brilliant showing of race pace, will take P3. Bradders will take P4. And Phoenix Grey in the V-Cab will take P5. What a race from him as well. Baton in the other Haas takes P6. Jonathan Curran will take P7 in the Aston Martin. Through goes Jonathan. Frosty Jack will be next. Oh, Jesus. That was very close to being a DNF on the line, that Frosty Jack. Adams will take the position off him, though. Maybe if Frosty Jack hadn't messed around then, he would have actually kept 2 positions, because he's just lost it to Frosty. He's just lost it to Adams and B. Wright. Had he not messed around on the line there, he might have actually kept them positions. Oh, Cinderfell has lost part of his wing. Really good race at the end, though, for you, Cinders. So, there we have it. The Irishman on top and the 2 Brits on either side of him. So, Sorry, I've got the hiccups. Jesus. Thanks, Isman. Appreciate it, mate. Bambo, thank you very much. Sorry, I've got hiccups. Jesus. Right, let's have a look at the final standings. So it is Asters that takes the race victory here in Hungary. Lewis W takes P2, Silver Fox in P3, Bradders in P4, Phoenix Grey in P5 with the fastest lap, Baton in P6, Jonathan in P7, Adams in P8, B-Right in P9, Frosty Jack takes P10. Then comes Mullen Ryder, Cinders, Demir, Smalley, the Dutchy, Cam McKenzie, Palanderville, Little Drips, and Shane Bolland. My driver of the day, you know, I'm gonna have to give it to. Thanks, Asters. I'm gonna have to give it to Asters. I think it was just an absolutely dominant display of racing. So yeah, and that's the first time I've actually give driver of the day to the race winner. But how can you deny that is not worthy of driver of the day with that kind of race? So yeah, Asters will get driver of the day and pick up the race win as well. But yeah, thank you so much, guys. That is it. We are finished. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching. Thank you so much to MSC. Sorry, I've just had a look at the chat. Yeah, thank you so much to MSC for having me. Appreciate it, like I always do. They always make me feel so welcome. Thank you to everybody that joined the chat and all the drivers as well. It's been a brilliant race to commentate on, so well done to all the drivers. I will see you next Tuesday, guys, for round 10. Make sure you tune in. If you do want to join MSC, just put !MSC in the Twitch chat. But thanks, guys, and I'll see you next week. Have a good weekend. Thank you.